Drake just broke records that haven't been touched in over 30 years. Let's sit with that. 42 out of 43 songs from one album all hit the Billboard Hot 100 at the same time. That has never happened in the history of music. And this young man did it while the whole industry had its back turned on him. But instead of that being celebrated, a billionaire walked onto a stage and spent 4 minutes, family, trying to tear him down.
Hattie's turning 100. If she would have transitioned before I cleared my name, I would have hunted them. Every one of them playing these silly games. That 1-800 ambulance chaser would have wished one came. But 911 is a joke. Public enemy #1, I've been ranked. The rock's not crumbling. The leprechauns have magically run out of pranks. Your son on a federal jail line mumbling something about having too much in his drink. You know how dumb that is? Another one fumbled his, wonder how I get the blame. Niggas' teeth is tumbling out their mouth and somehow I'm the one who done it. It's a murder mystery game. You had to cash cow and thunk it. Was you who pumped his? I'm the one who strummed the pain. That hill you can die on. There's way too much flack that comes from those planes. I'm killing them softly. What's understood don't need to be explained. You want it one way, it's the other. I still on you suckers, I'm mauling you niggas, gang. I ain't much for me, it's know how. Cancel the brunches, I remember the hunger pain. The price of the bricks going up. It's gonna cost you a beat to even say my name. You ever heard of a Wonder King? My children and some of them, have you niggas no shame? Y'all trying to get under skin? I really get under skin. Ask unharmed player. Y'all thugs with y'all thumbs again. Everybody think they're the ones insane. You're no maniac. Watch how Saniac in my presence, nigga, shrink. I need a new therapist. This shit is not working. I'm truly on the brink. Y'all better not encourage him. Y'all don't want me to think these thoughts that I think. That nut-ass nigga still stuttering. That chatty patty down on his luck again. Quest introducing me to Jaguar. I don't know why I still fuck with him.
And as a woman who loves this community and her people, I had to say something. Because the Bible tells us that a wise person builds, they don't tear down. And when someone who has already won everything still needs to attack someone else's rise, that's not power. That's an indication, an alert, a warning sign. And today we're going to talk about what that really means for us as a people. If you have ever watched someone who has already made it, someone with real money, real power, and real influence, use all of that to attack someone younger who is simply doing well, then this video is for you. And if you've ever wondered why some people in our community spend more energy tearing others down than building something that lasts, I need you to stay right here. Because what happened on that Roots picnic stage was not just a rap moment. It was a mirror, and our community needs to look at what it showed us. By the time this video is done, you're going to walk away with a clear understanding of what legacy actually looks like. Why jealousy disguised as competition is one of the most dangerous things in our community, and what we should be demanding from the people we have elevated to positions of power and influence. Because when a billionaire uses his platform to punch at another man's success, instead of opening doors, changing contracts, and protecting the next generation, we all lose something.
So Jay-Z was the headliner at the Roots picnic in Philadelphia, where he delivered what they're calling a freestyle, pre-written bars. He spent 4 minutes aiming at Kanye West, Drake, Nicki Minaj, Dame Dash, and Jaguar Wright. On Nicki, he mentioned her child. Folks are saying he took shots aiming at some sort of delayed development or disability.
Stuff, she sound like she in love with him. Her kid can't even take their kids. Enough of them.
And I thought that was crazy to be bringing up people's kids, their alleged disabilities and delays, when his own twins are clearly delayed. Both of them. Like, that's crazy. When did it become cool to pick on kids anyway? And sensitive issues like that when you're beefing with people. I don't care who it is, it's out of order, period. But here's what's funny. This performance didn't make people talk about him as a billionaire, on a higher level and better than everybody else, older than everybody else, more mature than everybody else. Instead, it did the opposite. It had a lot of people calling him grandpa, telling him to go to bed somewhere, just completely dismissing him, and then others started connecting dots. Not long ago in an interview, he said something about battling not needing to be a part of the culture anymore, said it was going too far, then walked out and did exactly that. Clearly a hypocrite, but that's not his first time. Remember, he's supposed to be the Black Power guy, but when Colin Kaepernick jeopardized his whole career for Black people, it was Jay-Z that took the bag from Roger Goodell and the NFL and told Black people we're not kneeling anymore. He's been a snake. He's been a hypocrite. He's been a traitor. He's been a sellout since back in the day with Rockefeller and Leor. Then he tried to make Dame look crazy for years, along with the bought and paid for media like The Breakfast Club. They've been trying to make people like Dame look crazy when he's been speaking the truth the whole time. And after years and years of this, it's not surprising that karma is starting to catch up with the Jigga Man. The casino deal in Times Square denied, the NFL partnership getting scrutinized, the Rock Nation school under investigation, the Diddy and Epstein Association still lingering. And it's been a bunch of reports going around in the last year about his financial troubles that's keeping his wife touring all the time. Even had to get out there and put their daughter to work. And while he's obviously taking a dive, conveniently he's back on stage, reuniting with Beanie Siegel and Freeway, artists he had needed in years, suddenly pulling everybody back together.
Let's start with the facts, because the facts matter. Drake just did something that no artist, not Michael Jackson, not Prince, not even Jay-Z, has ever done in the history of recorded music. Can we give him his applause, family? Can we do that? He placed 42 out of 43 songs from a single album onto the Billboard Hot 100 at the same time, surpassed Michael Jackson's record for the most #1 hits by a male solo artist, and became the first artist in history to chart over 400 Hot 100 entries. And he did all this without full support from his label, in the middle of public beef with people actively working against him. Now, there are voices out there that want to say the numbers don't matter. It's really strange how the numbers don't matter when they really do matter. They want to say streaming changed everything and records don't mean what they used to mean. But here's the thing. The rules are the same for everybody. Every artist today has access to streaming. Every artist can post on social media. Every artist can put out music independently. The difference is Drake put in the work, stayed consistent, and the people voted with their streams, their purchases, and their time. You cannot argue with 42 out of 43. You cannot argue with a record Michael Jackson held for over 30 years being broken. And I want our community to sit with that for a moment, because we have a habit of celebrating others before we celebrate our own. Drake's accomplishments are not a conversation. They are a historical record. When we allow other people's jealousy to cloud that truth, we rob ourselves of a reason to celebrate what Black excellence actually looks like in real time. So now the real question is, why would someone who has already achieved billionaire status feel the need to respond to that at all.
Drake has said many times he owns his masters, bro. He said it in multiple tracks. In a track at you, at that, where he said blowing past your owning masters. Second of all, Jay-Z, you are the crack. You have joined forces with the white people numerous times. You joined them when you backdoored Colin Kaepernick and said we're past kneeling. You joined them when you backdoored the entire Brooklyn to usher in the Barclays Center that destroyed the entire Brooklyn neighborhood. You joined them when you was trying to get a casino bid and went to dinner with Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner just so you can get a casino that you said would help black and brown people. It was only gonna help yourself, Jay-Z. We done with the 90s. We done with all the pandering, bro. The jig is up. We're done.
Look, at the end of the day, it's very easy to just speak on the most recent situation because that's what we see going on right now with Drake's recent domination of the Billboard charts, breaking crazy records, dominating every streaming platform that's out. I mean, making history. Top 3 albums all at once, and 12 albums on the chart all at one time. 42 of 43 of his songs that he just released all made it on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, something that never happened before. He surpassed Jay-Z's record, the most #1 albums, surpassed Michael Jackson's most #1 hit records. These records from male solo artists. And that Michael Jackson record is huge. He held that record for over 30 years. I mean, I can go on and on with his latest performance. The numbers don't lie. First artist with over 400 Hot 100s. That's never been done before either. And he did all of this without support from the label because he's still beefing with this guy here, Lucien. But look, it's easy to speak on this right now because Drake is literally all you're hearing about. Last year, the report was hip-hop was dying. And now in his current moment, Drake brought it all back in one weekend. Even getting Jay-Z to come out. Word is he may be dropping his first solo in nearly a decade. But speaking of roots, the root of all this is jealousy and envy.
Jay-Z is worth over $1 billion. He owns businesses, catalogs, real estate, and has a seat at tables most people will never see in their lifetime. Just weeks before the Roots picnic, he sat in an interview and told the world that rap beef has no place in the culture anymore. And I agree. But then he walked onto a stage and spent 4 minutes doing exactly that. I mean, come on. You said it, but you did the opposite. We gotta be held to our word. Now, opposing voices will say he was just having fun. They'll say it was just a freestyle and we're reading too much into it. But I want you to think about this carefully. A man who is truly secure in what he has built does not need to mention the person coming up behind him. He just keeps building. The fact that Drake's name, Drake's records, Drake's success keep finding their way into those bars tells you something real. And it's not just about Drake. He took shots at Nicki Minaj and brought up her child. He went after Dame Dash, Kanye, and others. That was not strength on display. That was a man who felt crowded, needed to somehow feel more relevant. And here's what the word tells us. Whether they follow the word or not, I bring everything back to God because that's where success and principles are learned. Proverbs 14:30 says, a peaceful heart gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. I'm not here to judge Jay-Z as a person, but I am here to call out the behavior because our young people are watching him and all these other influencers. They are watching how men at the top handle competition. And what they saw on that stage was not a lesson in confidence. It was a lesson in what unresolved insecurity looks like when it has access to a microphone. And I have seen this up close, not on stage, in a church, because that's where most of my life has been spent. I watched a woman in our congregation doing magnificent work, magnificent. Her gifts were evident. People could see it. People's lives were impacted. But the pastor and his wife people I deeply respected, people I had always seen as confident, accomplished, and fair. They would not give her a platform in the church. They would not lift her up publicly, but privately, they talked about her. They found every reason to keep her gift small and her voice quiet. And it changed how I saw them and how others saw them. Not because they were bad people, but because we realized their silence and their sabotage had nothing to do with her and everything to do with them. They felt threatened by one woman simply walking in her gifts. And I began to notice a pattern. Whenever someone in that congregation began to grow, began to advance in their calling, they eventually had to leave because the leaders around them could not celebrate what God was doing in someone else's life. That is the same spirit I saw on that Roots picnic stage. When a leader cannot make room for someone else's light, it is not because the light is too bright. It is because they stopped tending to their own light. When you have genuinely won, you don't need to announce it by attacking someone else. Your life, your legacy, and your fruits speak for themselves. And that brings me to the most important point of this entire conversation. What should people with real power actually be doing? They all seem to be bored. They get all this money and they don't know what to do. And they start doing extreme things. But what should they be doing? There are artists in this industry right now who do not own their masters, who signed contracts at 18 years old that they did not fully understand, and who are still paying the price for it decades later. There are young Black creators trying to get into the music business right now who have no roadmap, no mentorship, and no protection. And there are communities all across this country that need real investment, real advocacy, and real leadership. Jay-Z has the resources, the relationships, and the reputation to change every single one of those things. He has access to lawyers, legislators, and label executives. He built Roc Nation. He has been in rooms that most of us will never enter. And I have to ask, if you have all of that, why is your energy going toward a freestyle aimed at a younger artist instead of fixing the very industry you came up in? And you know the problems there. There are those who will point to his charitable work and certain business deals as proof that he gives back. And yes, that is true in some areas. But the same man who said we should be past kneeling, who took the NFL deal while Colin Kaepernick's career was destroyed, that man has unfinished business with his community that no freestyle is going to resolve. Luke 12:48 tells us that to whom much is given, much is required. That is not a suggestion, that is a standard. Whether he meets it or not, that's up to him.
So when I saw him do that interview, that softball interview with that nobody, and he's, talking about, this, that, and the third, right before Iceman was about to drop, I'm like, I'm reading between the lines. I'm seeing what's going on. I'm peeping the game, right? And I'm like, why does it seem like you're trying your best to, get in front of this situation? Because I feel like he knew Drake was going to diss him in Iceman, so he went and did that interview and, started talking like, oh, I don't think beef is good for the culture anymore. And so it's like, oh, so now beef isn't good for the culture? Now beef isn't good for the culture. And the crazy thing about it is in that interview, you talked about how they tried to put a jacket on you, try to accuse you of something that you didn't do as it pertains to women. and you was like, yo, you don't just put a jacket on people like that. You got to be real careful before you make accusations like that. And I'm sitting there listening to him, and I'm like, bro, you back Kendrick, who was putting the jacket on Drake. You literally put that man on the Super Bowl stage so that he could put a jacket on another man that he has yet to prove. But then you're talking about how they put the jacket on you, or was trying to put the jacket on you, and it wasn't right. I mean, the level of hypocrisy is crazy.
And when people in our community reach a level of wealth and influence that most of us can only dream about, we have every right to hold them to that standard. Using your platform to attack is easy. Using your platform to build something that outlasts you takes real courage, real character, and real commitment to something bigger than yourself. That's what legacy actually looks like. The next time you see someone with everything still reaching down to push or hold someone else back, remember, that's not power, family. That is fear dressed up in an expensive outfit. And our community deserves leaders who build far more than they tear down. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Jay-Z could have served our community and himself better by choosing to applaud and encourage Drake's undeniable accomplishments instead of trying to destroy and minimize them? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let me know where you stand on this issue. If this video spoke to you, please like it, share it with someone who needs to hear this conversation. And the links to the video clips related to this topic are right there in the description below. I'm Deborah, and this is Family Still Matters. And because family still matters, we tell each other the truth about what we see, what we tolerate, and what we deserve. We cannot keep handing our crowns to people who have stopped earning them. Thank you for watching, and may God continue to richly bless you. And before I close, I want to leave you with this scripture. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, do it in humility. Value others above yourself, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. Philippians 2, verses 3 and 4. Thank you, and may God continue to richly bless you. God bless.